This isn't good conversation. we can cut this.
No, it's not.
Okay, folks. If you know what patina is, comment below.
That's gotta go. That's actually not patina. It's too much.
Honestly, fuck, that's good. Do we feel good about that closing, or?
The closing you just did? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I completely agree.
It was totally weird.
Okay, we are back.
And we're live.
Welcome. How was your week? I actually had, I gotta be honest, I had no idea that this week was my episode. So it was just hard.
Wow.
I had no idea
I
to prepare.
have been there.
And so I didn't.
Wow, you didn't prepare?
Well, it's like I always have notes and stuff. Like I always have like a running list. But there's certainly going to be no structure.
I had a couple of things come to my mind, and I don't think I'm going to go for it or anything, but I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe I haven't talked about this. I can't believe I haven't talked about this for a few things.
Okay, great. This will be just a junk drawer of an episode. That's actually really good. Do you have local gossip?
Well, how was your weekend? You went away.
I had an amazing weekend away. I really scooped up the gang, and we went to Panorama, to my personal cabin. It's gorgeous out there. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And no, it was awesome. It was totally lovely. I got a keg, and like,
oh yes, how did that go over?
it was awesome. And like, what is it? Like a tap, but like, because you know how you like get a keg and you get like a kegerator, but then you get a keg and then there's like a way to have it so like, you know, when like beers are on draft.
I can honestly say I don't know the first thing about this.
But you don't even know what I'm
First
talking
or
about.
the last or the second or the
You know,
third.
if you go to a bar and
Yeah,
they
like
get you
I
beer on draft
understand
and like
that. Yeah,
how
yeah.
they pour it.
Yeah.
There was like one of those at the cabin.
That's
So it wasn't
really
just
cool.
like a frat boy like using it, tapping a keg. I was like a fancy bartender,
nice.
mixologist.
Exciting.
So that was really nice. One thing, and honestly, no fights broke out. I was really well behaved. One thing that I just did think, oops, I hope nobody took it the wrong way, was so part of the gang that we had up there was a very dear friend, of course, and her dear husband. And in the past, in the beginning, early days of their relationship, this is no surprise to either of them, earlier days of the relationship, I had a thing or two to say about this guy. I was kind of like,
Wow.
you know?
Okay.
And again, this is a surprise to no one. In fact, she also told him, she was like, did you know Tommy hates you? And I was like, that's
Oh,
crazy. How dare you
wow.
betray me?
Direct.
And then I was like, I guess you're allowed to do that, which also leads me to a question. But anyway, we'll get there. So yeah, so we've had a bit of a sordid past. Mm-hmm. And we've of course it's resolved
So
things.
you and your friend's partner
Exactly.
Okay.
And we have since, you know, developed
Become
a
the best of
beautiful,
friends.
blossoming
It's
relationship.
beautiful. That's how all good relationships start.
Exactly. And he is a chef. And I have always been of the mind of like, I'm good in the kitchen, quite good in the kitchen. I'm pretty intuitive when it comes to flavors and things like that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so I've always kind of been in the mind of like, yeah, if you're a chef, awesome. But like, so am I. You know? And every once in a while, like a chef cooks for me and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a difference. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not a chef, you know? And so we're out there, and as always, anytime we make it out there, we always have to do a pizza night because there's a pizza oven outside, as you know. So we had a pizza night one night, and everyone kind of like made different pizzas. It was very fun. And the chef, of course, like made a few different things. He like made like a side salad, which was like corn and honeydew and like some sort of vinaigrette. It was awesome. Like thinly sliced onions. It was amazing. And like made a pizza and like made all these sauces. Just like made a bunch of stuff. And as I was eating, I was just like, oh no, like this is like so good. And I kept saying, and the entire time there was a keg, like I said.
Yeah.
So the entire time I'm like working on a buzz very consistently just throughout the day.
Nice.
It was always, the brewskis were always being poured.
Did it last all weekend?
Yeah, like
Amazing.
perfectly, like perfect. It was awesome. So and I kept just like, as I was eating, I kept just being like, the kid can cook. What can I say? The kid can cook. I don't know what to tell you. The kid could cook. And I was just like, obviously like purposely like trying to be annoying, but like just being like stupid.
Right.
And then at one point I was just like, listen, say what you want about it, but the kid can cook.
Oh my God.
And like, then I realized, I was like, oh, he probably thinks that I'm like saying that to be like, you don't have to like him. You don't have to, you know what I mean? But you got to admit he can cook. And I was like, I hope that didn't like bring up old wounds. And I hope he understood that I was just saying it as like, I was just like being.
You're just trying to riff off a bit.
Yeah.
That maybe got a little
I
tired.
was really accelerating the bit, but like nobody was really chiming in. Like no one was really saying anything.
Yeah.
And then I was
and
like,
was anyone laughing or?
it's hard to say.
Yeah. So sometimes I think maybe what happens when you're really sort of working
was
a
a good
bit
bit,
and
though.
you're expanding on it, sometimes maybe you're not picking up on the
But
reaction.
you got to admit,
or-
saying like, say what you want about him, but the kid can
No,
cook.
like
That's funny.
that is funny, but you know, if the room's not with you,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to be willing to just.
The
be
room
flexible.
might have thought I was just like weirdly bringing up a vendetta.
Yeah, and being like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm mildly regretful about that.
Yeah. So did you get a chance to patch things up?
No,
or-
no need. I'm sure he didn't notice it or acknowledge it at all. Like I
So maybe you want to make a public apology.
okay. You know what?
Who are we
This
kidding?
is-
He doesn't listen.
I would like to apologize to Chef. I'm sorry, Chef. Is that fair?
and
I know what?
no, and that's fine. Go ahead.
And I know you probably had some things happening this weekend. I don't know what you do when I
yeah,
leave
we-
town,
we're-
but before, I did want to ask, have you ever told somebody that you don't like their boyfriend and regretted it? Regretted telling them?
Yeah, I feel like no good comes out of that. Really? Well, I mean, other than just being honest.
So like most boyfriends don't last. So don't you eventually feel like good about it?
Yeah, but what's the real point in it? Like, what's the point in saying I don't like him? Like, it's not bringing you guys closer. It's not really that useful information for them.
Yeah, and here's what's tricky is like I feel like I recently came to the point of like, yeah, you don't tell people you don't like their boyfriends. I feel like I
Yes,
learned
think we
that
discussed this.
lesson late in life. Though actually I did kind of have that conversation like recently. Like basically this week.
Wow.
But I feel like every time it comes up, I feel like I'm lucky enough to like have friends who are very much like they don't get super defensive about it. They really take it in stride, which is great. And they don't get all like, fuck you, I don't want to be your friend anymore about it, which is awesome. It really takes a type of person. Like it really takes
How do you think you would react to being told that?
honestly not that well. Like sometimes I have those conversations with people and I'm like, you're an excellent person. Anytime I have that conversation with a friend, I'm usually really touched by how humble they are. And the last time I had this conversation, I was like, this speaks a lot to your character, how you're handling this. It was excellent. But the common thread is always like, I'm glad you told me, and or I wish you had told me earlier, like when you felt this.
Okay, interesting. Sorry, was there a question there, or
I guess I'm wondering, is your philosophy, I'd asked the original question of like, have you ever told someone and regretted it? But now I'm wondering, is that your philosophy? Like obviously if there's ever like a whiff of danger or anything like that, of course, that's always a separate situation. But if you're just like, yeah, no, I don't like them.
yeah.
Is your philosophy like no good comes of it, or is there an exception to that? Because I'm kind of like every time this comes up, my friend is always like, yeah, I would not have hated hearing this opinion once it dropped.
I think if it's asked, if the question is asked, then sure, I'll probably tell the truth or some version of the truth. But I don't think it's information that like, you know, they need to know. I think there have been a few times where I've like shared an opinion that I'm like, what was the point of that?
Right.
Like I did it, you know, if they're asking for a specific like feedback on like a specific trait or something I've noticed, then like sure, I'm happy to share. But I think a lot of times I'm like, whatever, what's the point?
Right.
But I did want to say that when you said the like chef thing, it reminded me of the fact that like this came up for me this week where I was like, I feel like I had this growing up. I feel like I kind of had this very not really grounded opinion of myself as like being good at a lot of things. And maybe I was good at a lot of things. But it was almost to the point where I think when I was like a teenager, I was like pretty proficient at a lot of things that a lot of people around me weren't that good at. So I just assumed I was like, oh yeah, something like cooking, for
Right.
example, where a lot of people were like, oh, I don't really cook. And I was like, yeah, I can cook. And then it almost was to the point where like people who were actually good at those things and like are professionals or have training, I was sort of like, I get sort of like offended by. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm supposed to be like one of the better
Right.
ones at this thing.
You're
But
like, I studied to be a chef.
no,
not
literally.
you.
And I'm like, I think I always prided myself in being like, oh, I'm just well rounded. Like, I don't know. Mom was very like, she just was like well rounded and like thought it was important that we be good at certain things. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a lot of things that are like life skills. So then getting to a certain age and like looking around and being like, oh, you know, you're actually like very highly skilled at this thing that I'm like pretty good at is like, I was kind of like, oh. And I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, I'm not actually that talented at much.
How many
If I'm
things do you
really
think you're
honest.
good at? Like name the things that you think you're good at.
I mean, I think I'm good at a fair amount of things.
A fair, like
I
more
just
than
don't
5?
think, I don't know if it's more than 5. Probably about 5.
You think you're good at 5 things?
Probably.
Could I hear them?
Music related things.
Okay.
Good at. Communication related
Okay,
things.
yeah.
I'm good at. Would you consider writing part of communication?
I think that's a different skill.
Writing.
Yeah.
I'm good at. Specific sort of athletic things. I'm good at. And there was one more thing I was thinking of. Oh, I think I'm pretty good at like cooking. But
Okay.
that wasn't it. There was another one that I was thinking of. Anyways, I think I'm pretty good at those. I don't, but the realization I had recently is like, I don't think I'm particularly like super talented at anything.
I bet you the average person is super talented at 0 to 1 things. That's
Yeah,
my
but I
hunch.
think I just thought of myself as
Oh,
a
you were
talented
like,
person
I'm a talented.
growing up.
Right. You're like,
You know
I'm
what
a
I mean?
phenom.
Growing up, I was like, I am a child prodigy.
Right.
Like that's how I like thought of
Which,
myself.
to be fair, sometimes I wonder. It took me until I was about like 18 to realize that not everybody, but probably a lot of people start out that way. Like the whole point is you're young, so anything that you're remotely good at, you're super good at for
Yeah,
your age.
yeah.
So you start out
Yeah.
kind of like excelling. It's pretty easy to be like the best at something.
Right.
And then once you're like 15, 16, 17, you just become incredibly average at everything you touch. It's
And I'll tell
devastating.
you, nothing will humble you like TikTok. I'm just looking around and I'm like,
TikTok
the
is-
world is full of like brilliant talent.
so you
and
just
I've
learned
got
this?
none of that. No. I learned this like 5 years ago.
Okay.
But I recently was
Still
struck with it
old, but-
again. Like I was like, I'm just not I'm not the bright star I thought I was.
Yeah, that is, rip. My
Yeah.
apologies.
No, thank you. It's
My
just something.
condolences.
It's something I've been working through for the last 5 years, and I think now I feel like I'm landing the plane. Like I'm like that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Is there anything that like you're not willing to accept being average or worse than average at? That you're like,
I think I'm better than average at reading people and understanding
so that one would hurt.
human dynamics.
Right. So that one would hurt if it like,
Yeah.
yeah, if it came to the fact that you're like, I might not be so good at this.
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't believe that's the case.
No, I'm not saying
I
you're
just
not.
don't-
I'm just saying, what if you, okay, because sometimes when I think about like talent and like being amazing and then realizing you're not so amazing,
Yeah.
it's like you outgrow your exception, like your
Yeah.
own exceptionalism or whatever. And so we were like, yeah, you might be so talented at all these things when you're like 12 because nobody else is doing those things.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're 15, 16, whatever, you're like, okay, I'm not that talented at this.
Yeah.
And so in your 30s, like you might be the most socially, I'm not saying I think this is the case, but what if you were the most socially intelligent, like tapped in person, but by the time you're 60, you're like, oh, everyone here is very wise.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually nurture this skill that much because I didn't really think I
Yes.
had to because I've always been good at it. And now I'm just like everyone else. Fuck.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think when I was like in my undergrad era and I was like studying sociology, I had these like super hot takes on the
Yeah.
world around me. And I was like really coming from this like anti-oppressive lens that I felt like a lot of people around me were like, damn, like, where did you get this knowledge and this insight? And I was like, yeah, this is who I am. And then like years went by and I was like, I haven't really sharpened that skill or like kept up with
Yeah.
knowledge. And I looked around and I'm like, oh, everyone's a scholar. Like there's like 19-year-olds
I could
being
impress
like,
people with very little. So I
exactly,
didn't actually have to work
exactly.
Yeah.
So I see what you mean there, but I just don't think that, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I don't think there's a lot of new information when it comes to like humans and the way we interact. Now, I think there's new information in terms of like new theories about why we behave the way we behave, or there's more information that might come to light about like, I don't know, more background information.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the emotions that are at play, or like the power dynamics that are at play, or the like feelings that may be at play in a given interaction, I just don't know that it gets like so much more advanced than what it already is.
Agreed, but maybe with like things like couples therapy becoming
Yeah.
more mainstream,
Yeah.
people will develop a little bit more literacy when it
And
comes
that's
to that.
and that makes total sense to me. And I don't think I'm the most well spoken when it comes to those things. I don't think I'm articulating it the best. But I think when I watch things like couples therapy, that's an indicator for me, because I will watch things that happen on couples therapy that I'm like, I was saying that when I was 12. Things that Orna is saying that I'm like, yeah. I think I've always been able to pick up on that stuff. And there's things that she says that I'm like, that is a truth I just know. I've just known that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. You should start your own version of couples therapy.
I would honestly love to.
But you should just invite friends over. They could sit in those two chairs, and you only need
just
10
do
minutes.
a therapy session.
And then you just film it, and you're like, I only need 10
That
minutes.
feels so unethical, but also
It's fine.
sign me up.
It's absolutely fine. I played tennis with my ex this week.
Oh,
Is that okay?
I was literally going to be like, I wonder when I said this to somebody. I was like, I wonder when the last time they hung out was.
I played tennis for the first time this season,
How'd it go?
and it was awesome. Tennis is awesome. I love it so much. I want to
I'm
be
really happy you found something you love.
I
like
want
this.
to be a professional tennis
Go
player.
for it. Life is
I
short.
wonder if you can like make it to Wimbledon without knowing how to backhand. I'll have to look into that. Or serve. I can't
Yeah.
really serve or
Why not? You can be the
Backhand.
first. I do want to say something. Do you have more to say about this tennis thing?
no, not really.
Okay.
Just that I asked about your ex. I hope that's okay.
Oh, sure. Whatever. Whatever you want to know about. That's between you and God. You played tennis this week. I choked on ice. And I want to talk about that.
I really hope it wasn't in public. Otherwise, this is gonna give me the ick.
No. So, for those who don't know, I am a proud member of the ice eating community. I have,
They're called something, right?
I think it's called like pica or something, but
Okay.
it's not. It's just like eating things with like no nutritional value, things that are like not really food, I guess.
Gotcha.
I think ice is like a specific subsect of that. But it is very common among those who are anemic. And I am severely anemic. And I get iron infusions every so often. And when those start to like wear off, the first sign is that I'm like, I love my ice. I gotta have it. And every now and then I think to myself, I'm gonna choke on this, because it's happened before where it kind of like, it's so slidey.
Okay, yeah. Do you not
We're
like
kinda
chew it?
No, I usually like suck on it for a bit and then I chew it.
Gotcha.
And it's happened before where it's kind of like, whoop, oh, it's headed.
just gets away from
it's
you.
headed. It got away from me.
Okay.
And then it's like, oh, nope, that's not happening. And it's sort of, it's not like
What do
all
you mean?
the way
It's not
down
like it
there.
comes back up, or
Yeah, it comes back up, but it's not like down. It's just like goes to the back of my throat, and I'm like, whoa,
Gotcha.
That's getting close. That's getting
Yeah.
dangerously close. Not a problem. But I've thought about it, and I've thought, I wonder what it would be like to choke on this, because it's ice. It's
yeah,
just going to
it'll go away
It'll
eventually.
go away eventually. So I wonder what that experience is like. And this weekend,
you summoned it.
I had that experience.
Okay.
I learned for the first time. And when I tell you that my life flashed before my eyes, but it was like this slow sort of,
How big? How big was the piece?
Very big, Tommy. It was a very big piece of ice.
It just
and it
went
went
back
down there,
there.
and I had a moment where I was like, so Grace, you're in that moment where this can either come up or it could go down. And I sort of just froze in time. Mm-hmm. And I looked at myself from on high.
Okay. Were you at home?
And I said, I was at home. I was in bed. And I have since been told you should not be eating ice in bed. I've been scolded. But it's just something I do. It's
a guilty pleasure,
Let me
yeah.
live.
It's a comfort.
Pleasure. It's a comfort. It's nice. Anyways, I looked at myself from on high and I said, well, you could either fight for your life or you can let it rip. So I let it rip, and I just thought, let's let it go back. So
what would fighting for your life have looked like?
just bring it back up.
What do you
Just
mean
do what
bring
you
it
have
back?
to do
What
to
do you
just force that piece of ice back up. You could sometimes it wasn't like it was so far that it was still sort of like I probably could fight for my life to get this up here, but the fighting itself would be sort of a traumatic experience that I thought I don't think that's going to be worth it in the long run.
Okay.
And so I just thought submit, and I did, and I've never had.
So it was just
experience
lodged
like
back
that.
in
It was
there.
lodged, and this is a big piece of ice. I mean, it's not huge, but it was big enough that I was like, wow. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and you know me, I do not like a chaotic choke.
Of course.
If you're gonna choke, be demure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want energy and flailing and action. I don't want to be bothered
honest,
by
did you
somebody
close
else.
your eyes in bed just like you were dying? Just like you were like just allowing
No,
it
I
to go.
sat up.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh, this is. And then I started asking myself, can I breathe? Like, I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
I was like, can I breathe? Am I okay? So I breathe. I could breathe.
You could breathe.
I could breathe.
Oh, then what's the problem with choking? Why is everyone crying about it?
Well, I'm not saying that's how it always is, but in that situation, I could breathe.
Great.
And then I started feeling it melting, but it was like extremely painful.
The melt. Oh, like where it was positioned.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever had something huge lodged in your throat, but it's not about a positioning
Can't say I
thing. It's just
have.
period. That's fucking
I don't know why
painful.
this piece of ice was so big.
I don't ask the ice manufacturer in my fridge.
No, I'm just like, it's just, yeah, whatever. I don't mean to victim blame.
Yeah. So in that moment, I just thought I can breathe. And then I just kind of was like, what's next, Grace? What's next for you? Mm-hmm. And I knew that it was eventually going to make its way down, but I was in a terrible amount of pain. York was looking at me. She was like, something's not right. And I looked at her and I said, no, something is not right. And slowly it started to breathe, slowly it started to melt. And I kind of felt like I was drowning.
Oh.
It was like gurgling in my throat. And I was like, but then I was like, that like kind of gasping for air. And I was like, what is happening?
This is making me sick.
Yeah. And I thought you would hate this story. And I literally, like, as it was happening, I started laughing. Because I was like, this is so insane. Like, this is so insane. And it was slow. And then after a while, I was just like, okay, hurry the fuck up and get down there. But it took, it was probably a 3-minute experience.
3 minutes?
It wasn't lodged in there for 3 minutes, but it was 3 minutes before I felt like I could, like, just breathe a sigh of relief. It was a lot. It was a lot. But then I thought about it and I was like, what if that wasn't ice?
What else? What do you mean?
Like, what if I was eating something else and that happened to me? Like that.
Oh, that's when you do that self-Heimlich.
I know. And I thought about that and I was like, do I even know how to do that? Like,
everyone should know how to do it.
I know. In theory, I
don't know how
do.
to
But
do
like in action, I was like, I froze.
I bet you
No
just
pun
like,
intended.
you would just like make yourself like gag.
Yeah, Tommy, I'll just say, like, for those of you who like to eat ice in bed while laying prostrate. Prostrate? Just
I think you should just eat smaller pieces of ice.
after that, it's so funny. I like came back in. I was like, woo! After it, I was like kind of laughing at myself, like tears streaming down my face. Like, I have been through it. I got back in bed and I like saw my bowl of ice there. And I was
That's actually so fun.
I just chewing it off, just making smaller bites. But I was like, what am I going to give up ice? The one thing I have to
Crazy.
comfort
Don't
me
you have a
after
maker
that
that like
incident?
makes small pieces?
Yeah, but I like them big. What can I say?
Let's do a bit of a summer house recap. First of all, we're getting a bonus episode, which I can't wait for. But
I kind of honestly, I'm like,
I'm over it.
I'm kind of like, I wanted to wrap it up.
I was going to say, I never thought I would say this, but I'm
It's
actually
pointless.
over it. The one thing that I feel like is kind of raining on my parade a little bit is like, like the preview of the bonus episode with like Lindsay talking to Amanda being like, I feel stupid, and her being like, you should feel stupid. It's this whole like, we're giving them what they want thing, but it's like, we all know that they're like spitting in each other's mouths in Italy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a bummer.
It is a bummer, but the episode was quite recent.
But
So
like,
like maybe like just before Italy or something.
sure, maybe.
But either way, I'm so bored of them. I actually think I might stop watching In the City because I did see this like interesting take of like, if you guys want any sort of justice in this situation, it has to come from you. It's not going to come from the producers. The producers are not getting rid of Amanda and West. The producers are going to protect them. Production is going to protect them. They make good TV, and they're also not people who have the ability to demand a lot right now. Like, they're not people who have a bunch of opportunities lined up, who can say, like, if production doesn't do this, this, and this, I'm walking, like Sierra can right now, because she has that leverage. So those are perfect people for Bravo right now, and ultimately, if I don't want to see them, like, that's kind of on me, and I gotta, like,
Right.
not see them. So that's something I'm wrestling with.
That feels like, yeah, definitely doable given the fact that the cast of In the City sucks. That one guy, Gavin, I just find him so insufferable. It's like so difficult to watch him. He's terrible.
On In the City.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't like any of
they're-
them.
They're not memorable to me. I don't know who's who. I don't really care. But yeah, I think if I don't know who you're talking about, but I can't imagine that I like any.
Well, if you do go through this massive sacrifice of not watching this show, of which you don't remember any of the characters and don't care about,
Shouldn't be a huge loss.
that'll be awesome.
It's not about sacrificing, though. It's not about me taking an L. It's about just not watching Amanda
No, certainly.
and or West. But I have to say, like, final thoughts. Lindsay, I thought her coming back and being
Her
like,
coming back with
I
a
don't
gl-
know what's
With a
going
glass
on.
of wine was hilarious.
I thought it was so classy and just like, yeah, I wanted to know more. None of it was really adding up or making sense. I also thought that Andy's just being like, are you on a ton of beta blockers
was
right
so
now? Was
funny.
kind of unprecedented.
No, I was
Like, I'm
honestly
I've
like,
never
damn, I was
seen
like, are we
any-
allowed to do this in this day and
Housewives
age?
and like, they're always on something, and he never brings it up or addresses it, and like you can tell a lot of the time. So I thought it was really interesting.
Especially
that
him
he
being
was
like, no offense.
what's the problem with you? Like, why are you acting so weird? But also, somebody said it would have been nice if you asked Amanda that, and then
Yeah.
he said he's going
Gonna
to
watch.
ask her at the In the City reunion,
Well, that's
which
probably
is
why I was
tomorrow,
like, I have to. Wait, what?
filming tomorrow
Oh, they're filming
or
it
today.
tomorrow.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I've got to see that.
Yeah. No, it was really a sight to behold, the two of them just like so weirdly numb and emotionless. And I feel sorry for both of them, kind of. Like, I'm not like poor Amanda or poor Wes, but I'm just like, to be one of them, I mean, it just feels like rock bottom.
And also the way she kept saying, I have a lot to think about. After today, I have a lot to think
And
about.
Lindsay was kind of like, why do you have a lot to think about? Why didn't you think about it before?
Yeah, that part actually genuinely confused me because I was
Right.
like, what information is coming to light?
I think that's what they were all trying
today.
to say. They're like, why do you have a lot to think about when you knew all of this information? Like,
Yeah.
nobody's saying anything new. You knew this. So what is it that you have to think about now all of a sudden? Didn't you do a lot of thinking before, like you said?
Yeah.
So strange. I do want to say this. Me and Luke had a conversation, which was really interesting. It wasn't a fight. Okay, we do not fight. We do not argue. When couples say we never
you record
fight,
it?
I'm like, that's so weird. I didn't think
I don't know
to,
why
but
this is
maybe I
so
will
hard.
next time.
It's just a simple button to press.
Have you recorded any fights you've had?
Well, we don't fight.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's the difference.
That's what I thought. But it was really interesting because we talked about like what the other person's reaction is when one of us says, this is how I'm feeling. And this made me think about this because of like apologies and how I feel like Amanda and West, whatever apologies
were
they
so
gave, which
annoying.
were just whatever. But it was interesting because Luke has noticed and knows this very much about me, that when I express a feeling, like when I say I'm feeling really like hurt right now or whatever, his instinct is to be like, I'm so sorry. I do not want you to feel that way. That was not my intention. Let me, like, how can I fix? And I actually don't respond very well to that. Like, I don't like somebody coming in with that kind of energy. I want them to acknowledge how I feel and let me sit there and kind of, I guess, sit there with me on some level. Like if I say this is how I'm feeling, I don't want them to try to like fix it or be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I hate that you feel that way. I'm sort of like, no, it's okay that I feel that way. It's like a human emotion. And like, yes, make your apologies if you inflicted this on me. But like, also like, let's allow that feeling to exist right now. And for you to be like, shit, I totally get why you would feel that way. And like, that sounds rough. Whereas he's the opposite, where he'll express a feeling and I'll be like, oh, I totally get why me saying that made you feel that way. And he's like, well, that's dismissive. Like, you get why I feel that way. You are like acknowledging my feeling, but like,
yeah, you don't want to do anything about it.
yeah, like what is, but you caused this feeling. Like what, like, do you want to say something more? Do you want to attach yourself to the solution a little bit more, maybe because I'm saying you made me feel a type of way, kind of thing. So it was a really interesting conversation because, anyways, you were going to say something. But.
No, I was going to say that's honestly so similar to me and Jules, except the reverse.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So
where sometimes if I'll express, and he'll often kind of be very much like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'll be like,
you want to
say
more?
more. And I'm also just like, I do this thing where I'm like, and this part is me. This part is me. But, and I say stuff, and he's just like, yeah. And I'm like, I know I said it's me, but there's absolutely a window of opportunity for you to feel bad about it and express that to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it pisses me off
that's
that
like
you don't feel responsible.
Right. And that's exactly like what Luke was saying, where he was just like, right, cool. Like, I appreciate that you are acknowledging my feelings, but are you going to jump in a little bit?
You're like, and you're allowed to feel that way. And you're like, I know I'm allowed to feel that way.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Like, feel bad about it. And I'm like, it's so interesting because in those moments, that's what I want. I want someone to be like, oh, I get why you feel that way. And actually, like, that's shitty, but it's not the end of the world. And like, yeah, let me let you have this moment of feeling that way. And so I think I'm doing this like brave thing by giving that to him. Like, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a shitty feeling.
Right.
Oh my
and
God.
I don't have
like,
to insert myself
I don't have to
into
insert myself.
this.
And
like,
for a lot of the times I'm like, I don't.
Like, I recognize this has nothing to do with me, kind of.
Yeah. I'm sort of like, that's, it's not really mine to fix. Like, it's your feeling. And maybe something I said like triggered it. And there are times when it's like, oh, my delivery was off or like whatever. And then I'll be like, I am sorry for what I did here or whatever. But for the most part, I'm like, tell me about your feeling. Wow, that's a big feeling. Like, for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's essentially what I'm doing. And he's like, okay. Whereas I'm like, that's kind of what I want someone to say to me. So it's just like really interesting how we both were talking about how like we both in not so many words described it as feeling dismissed. Like, I'm like, I feel dismissed when you rush in with like, I'm so sorry, I don't want you to feel that way. Like, well, I'm like, no. Like,
that's
hello?
really interesting.
Like, let's stop trying to fix, like, stop trying to like pour water. I feel like it's like being like, shh, no more.
Right.
Enough. I'm sorry, we're good. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, that feels dismissive. And he was like, what you do feels dismissive.
That's really funny. And like, yeah, I can think of a specific fight where I feel like this played out exactly. There was this one night where me and Jules were going out, and I was going to be like, a bunch of his family were going to be there and stuff like that. And I was going to be like meeting people I had never met. So I was like already feeling like, oh, I'm like nervous and all this stuff, but we were like going to a show. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to a show, I want to like that. I have a certain outfit in my mind that would be different than like a meeting the family outfit. But I was like, I have to stay true to myself. At the end of the day, I have to wear what I want to wear to this event. And so I picked an outfit. I was like, okay, I wasn't like feeling some type of, I was feeling some type of way about it, but I was like, this is what I want to wear and I like this outfit. But I was like, I feel like I could be judged in it. And again, did I think that these people were going to judge me? No, but like I was definitely like, oh, I'm feeling this is an insecurity I have about people like not liking me or like whatever. And then them being able to, them like having their way with me if I'm wearing something that like feels a little bit unconventional or whatever.
Right.
And so he comes over and I'm like in my outfit, just like kind of getting ready. But he came over and then I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like my room is a mess. I've been like, I was having a whole thing about my outfit, but like, I feel like I landed on something. And then it reminded me of just like something separate. So then I started talking about, I was like, oh, last summer when I was like going out on all these dates, I just decided to establish a first date outfit. And it made my life so much easier because it was just the first, like a great outfit for any occasion that I always wanted to wear on first dates. And I was like, did I ever tell you about my first date outfit? And he was like, oh yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that. And then he was like, are you whipping that out for tonight? So here I am, fully dressed, ready to go. And he basically did the like, okay, great, when are you getting changed? You know what I mean? And so like, and obviously I know he just was in the conversation like that wasn't, but then I was just like, no, this is what I'm wearing. And he was like, oh, okay, great. And then I was like, oh, I'm annoyed. Yeah. And so then I was just like, I'm going to go like get ready, whatever. I'm annoyed, feeling some type of way. And then he was kind of like, okay, what, like, you know, what just happened, whatever. So then that's what I was talking about. I was like, I get it. Like, I get that you weren't being like, when are you changing? This is a weird outfit. But I was like, I was already feeling some type of way. I was already feeling on edge. I was already feeling like insecure and like vulnerable. Not insecure. I wasn't feeling insecure, but I was feeling vulnerable in this space. And then I felt like you did the like, okay, go get changed kind of bit.
And Lindsay's like, okay, Amanda, let's get you changed.
No, like literally. And I was like, by the way, that's a classic bit. Like I was like, I'm not making that up. It's a classic burn that people have been using for centuries. And so he was just like, okay, no, and was very like, oh yeah, no,
Right.
that makes total sense. And I
Right.
was kind of like, aren't you missing something?
Right.
Aren't you missing the part where you're also like, first of all, baby, I'm so sorry,
Yes,
baby. Second of all,
yes.
this is the most gorgeous outfit I've ever seen. And like, oh my God. And also, I hate that I said that. And also, I hate myself.
Yeah.
No, and I was just like, is that
all
so
roads should
hard?
lead. Yeah, and that's really interesting. That example is a very good example because that's the perfect example of where I would have said, I would have done the exact same thing Jules did. Because I would have been like, I don't think I have anything to apologize for. Like,
Right.
and I don't mean it in like a stubborn way. Like, I think it's okay to apologize for something when you're like, oh,
that's not what I meant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Like, I'm sorry you felt that way. Like, and I didn't mean to come off that way or whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I think it's a good habit. But I don't, ultimately, if you explained that to me and explained your feeling and really went into it, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I would
Right.
be like, oh, that makes total sense. I see where you're coming from. And like, yeah, that sounds really like ouchy. Like that's how I would
See, I've already
feel.
heard that. I've already
Right.
like, that's
and
crazy.
and
Just
that's
say
where we're like,
sorry.
honestly, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a you problem. And like not in the way that I'm not willing to like meet you
That's
there,
so
but just
crazy.
in the way that I'm like, right, it sounds like you're describing a vulnerable state that you're in that
you brought
like,
me to.
no, and that's the key. If you think about it, it's like you were in that state before.
No, for
And
sure.
in fact, it's
Don't
kind
you feel
of
that?
I mean, the thing is, like, sure, I do, but
crazy.
it's not, in your mind that he didn't mean anything by it.
Of course.
You know that. And you
Yes.
know that he wasn't actually being like, this outfit I don't like.
Right.
He wasn't criticizing the outfit. I totally get why it felt like that. But I just don't think you can put that on him.
And that's the thing. And I'm like, that's for me to say. That's for me to say. And I know this isn't you. You know, but then it's for him.
Right, but then
to
it's
think
like-
that it is him.
Right. But
Do
if
you
you
understand?
say, of course I understand. But if you say this is a me thing and you don't really mean it.
I mean it. I just expect.
No. Then you don't really mean it.
I
then
do
you're like,
mean it.
I want you.
I know, even telling the story. I obviously know this is me. This is my insecurity. These are my fears. All of that.
But then you have to believe it. And then you have to like be willing to.
Let's get Luke on the pod because I'd be curious to know Because like
Yeah,
if this,
Luke definitely would agree
if
with
this
you.
situation played out with you and Luke, and he expressed that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling vulnerable, all this stuff," and like how I'm dressed is playing into all that, and you were like, "Yeah, no, that makes so much sense," and he was kind of like, "Okay, do you have any more to say on that?" And would you kind of be like, "I mean, no, I hear you, I feel for you, like, and I get it, and I think if I were you, I would feel that exact same way, and like,
And this is where I'm sort of saying there's give and take here. It's not that I would dig my heels and be like, I don't owe you an apology. Like that, I would probably be like, I'm very sorry that I made you feel like that. Like I would offer that, but not from a place of like,
this is how I repair this kind of
yeah,
thing."
and not from a place of like, oh, I fucked
I
up.
did it, yeah.
Because I don't
And I
think
have
that
to
is my
atone
fuck. I
for
think
something.
you're being vulnerable and saying, oh, this is how this landed with me. And I would just be like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. And like, yeah, of course. But that's not, I don't think that's a fault on my part that I like. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
if there's something that I could do better, it's like, I don't know, maybe pay attention to the fact that you're dressed. I don't know.
Okay,
Like,
so
what's
if
the real fault
if this
there?
situation was with you, you're getting changed, you're kind of like, you went through a whole thing, you're like, oh, what's the right outfit, whatever. You're feeling in a vulnerable place. You're about to meet like a bunch of his people or something like that. And he comes in and accidentally pulls the, okay, go get changed. So doesn't mean it. You know he doesn't mean it. But you're like, oh, I'm just annoyed. And then you express like, this is where I was coming from. And he was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm so sorry. That is not what I meant at all. And you're like, yeah, I know. And he's like, that's literally, also, I love this outfit. I genuinely love it. That is so not what I meant. Would you be like, stop speeding through this?
No,
Like,
because I
that
think
would-
that's something like that's a little bit more low key. Like it's a little bit more.
So that would
like,
feel fine as a response.
that would feel fine to me. I mean, I think the truth is the real repair would happen if I chose to be vulnerable. Because if I
Sure.
said like, hey, well, that's kind of rude. I'm changed. Like,
Right.
and he said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant. I love this outfit. The truth is, like, I actually haven't done that work.
Yeah.
Because the reason it's sensitive isn't because he said a horrible thing. The reason it's sensitive is because I'm like, hey, can I be honest for a second? I'm feeling really vulnerable, and that is where the actual like intimacy and connection comes in. And there's nothing he could do to fix that in that moment. And there's nothing he should do, because him saying, "Oh my God, like I'm so sorry," isn't the issue. Like, I know he didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
You know he didn't mean anything by it. So it's like that actually isn't where the like repair comes. The repair comes with you being like, "Hey, can I be honest? I'm on edge tonight and I feel really vulnerable." And him essentially like giving you a hug and being like, "I think you look amazing. I totally get why you're feeling that way." Like, that's the repair. It's not him being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. So if it's a, and this is me type situation, if it's one of those situations where you lead by saying, and I know this is my thing, but XYZ, you're saying, if it's your thing, then even though they triggered a negative feeling or emotion in you, if it is your thing, it's kind of on you to lead and follow through with the repair. Like, all the repair
Yeah.
is kind of on you, even though obviously the other person triggered a
I think
negative
so.
feeling.
I think so. I think at the end of the day, like, we have to recognize what is ours and what is the other person's. And a lot of the time, I think the reason repair is so hard to get to is because we're expecting something from the other person that is actually within us. And if you, like, really, those walls coming down around how vulnerable you're feeling is the biggest gap between you and repair. Because once you like bring those walls down, if he then was like, "Oh, I don't really like your shoes that much," well, then that's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm vulnerable now. Like, he needs to do the repair,
Right.
But if all it was you being vulnerable in the beginning and him saying something not really like kind of aloof or whatever. Like, he doesn't need to, he shouldn't have to travel very far. It's actually you who has to travel far. And I say that with the caveat that I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to see someone who is struggling and travel far to them and
Yeah.
be like, you know what? I actually can imagine that you probably feel really vulnerable right now. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, and I think that's beautiful. I'm just saying I think as like an evolved person who's working on themselves, it is actually your responsibility to do that.
Yes, and I would agree. And I think that the piece that additional piece is sort of that ultimate desire that that inner child or whatever, that ultimate desire to be like, yes, this is my thing. This is on me. I know these are my demons. It has nothing to do with you. But then after you've expressed that, it's almost like this desire that person kind of like pick up a sword and battle those demons, which to me is that like, oh my gosh, you look amazing.
Yeah.
Which you're like, I know you think that.
Yeah.
That was never but that is also part of what is happening. The vulnerability, the feeling exposed. You're being like, well, I'm not dressed for the occasion, and their family's gonna think I look dumb, and they're gonna judge me, and they're gonna talk about me, and it's like, you know all that stuff's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But that's like the ultimate fear. So a part of it is like, you're like, now that I've expressed that to you, why not, get in the mud?
Yes.
And why not talk to those guys?
I do understand that feeling, but I think that's
It's too much.
You're doing half of the work and then you're bowing out. You're being like, I'm being vulnerable and I'm showing, so now you like rescue me. And it's like, no, you actually have to go all the way. You have to say like, I feel vulnerable, I feel a little bit insecure, I feel whatever, but you kind of have to get yourself to the place of like, but what are those narratives? What are those thoughts? Like, what is the truth? And like, how do I want to hold myself? And how do I want to carry myself? And can I soothe myself in this moment to bring myself to a place where I'm not so precariously like teetering on, like, if you look at me wrong, you're going to have to do an apology tour because I'm feeling so sensitive. Like, you have to get yourself to a place of level.
But when you are in that position where you are feeling so sensitive and you are feeling so vulnerable, and you're like, I know what this is, you talk it out, you often need something at that point.
Yes, but I would argue that something is something you can almost always give yourself. It's
so what do you do
very
in that
hard
moment?
and very
what is your
not
ask?
normal.
What is your ask in that moment?
What do you mean?
When you share vulnerability, you own that it's yours, and then you're still feeling like you're like, okay, now I'm exposed and I'm in that place where I need that sort of acceptance, reassurance, whatever that thing is, that often can look like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You're perfect, baby, I love your outfit. What is, in your opinion, then a reasonable ask in that moment?
I mean, okay, I don't want to sound like I'm running such a strict program. Like, ask whatever you want from your partner, like whatever. I'm not saying like, here's the line. I just, for me, think of it as like, I do kind of have my responsibility to bring myself all the way over the line and to like kind of get there. Usually in those moments, I would like something. And usually that looks like, I want you to listen to me. Like, I want you to really hear this part of me and to like actually validate that and be here with me and acknowledge what I'm saying and what this part of me looks like and show that in some way, whether it's like by how you respond or like, I want to be really like heard in that moment. And then, maybe it is like maybe it is something as silly as like, can you tell me you like my outfit? Or like, do you like my outfit? Like, I think it's fine to like ask for that kind of reassurance. I think the part that I don't like is being like, now take responsibility for how you tripped over this very thin trigger line for me. You know what I mean? That's the part where I'm like, that's your business.
Well, la-di-da. You
Couples
heard it
therapy.
here first, folks. You're the problem. Thanks for joining us.
I think the show that I do should be called You're the Problem.
Okay.
Do you and Jules want to come on first?
Come on. Well, we don't fight ever, so that'd be a bit of a tricky.
Except about your outfits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comment below if you would watch. Is it a podcast or is it a show? I think it should be a show.
It's a show.
Comment below if you would watch You're the Problem.
Comment below if you want to be on You're the Problem.
Yeah. And the application
need people
is
to
just
sign
a
up,
voicemail of a fight. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the application.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, folks, to another episode of You're the Problem.
That's it?
What do you mean that's it? It's been an hour.
Okay.